Welcome to Language and Learning by Jeff Bach. This is TOEIC Reading 1, Unit 4, the passive voice. As usual, feel free anytime you need to pause the video, to think about the answers or do research or whatever you need to do. Let's start with some words and expressions. You can listen and repeat. Ahead of schedule. Division. Personnel. Primary business. Rivals. A warm reception. Conduct or conduct. Conduct is the verb form, the noun form, and the verb form is conduct. So again, the noun form, conduct, the verb form, conduct. Okay. Number 1, the new secretary in our department was happy to receive blank by everyone. She felt very welcome. So what means welcome? Reception, a warm reception. Just like a receptionist is someone who welcomes guests or clients at a business. Okay. Number 2, the blank that Chase Computers does is installations and repairs. Okay, so the main thing or primary business Number 3, the blank department is in charge of hiring new employees, human resources or personnel. Number 4, McDonald's and Burger King are business competitors or rivals. Number 5, Bridgewater Electronics is going to blank a survey of its customers next month to see what new products they should offer. So going to blank, you need a verb. Ahead of schedule, that's not a verb. Division, that's not a verb. Conduct is a noun. Conduct is a verb. So I'm going to conduct. So we've got division and ahead of schedule. Okay, so we've got ahead of schedule. So that's an adverbial phrase when something was done. And then we've got division, which is a noun. So number 6, Mr. Patterson gave the research department employees a bonus because they finished their investigation early, finished ahead of schedule. Okay, and so that means division is the last one. Let's see if it works. The fisheries department is going to expand its inspection and quarantine division due to an increase in health concerns. So it's something, a noun, division. Good. Okay, so now let's talk about the passive voice. But let's start by seeing if you understand the active voice, which is more common than the passive voice. So here's an example of a sentence using the active voice. Pam ate a hamburger. What's the subject? Pam. What's the verb? Ate. What's the object? A hamburger. What did the subject do? What did Pam do? She ate a hamburger. What did the object do? Well, it was eaten. That's the passive. But it did nothing. That's why it's passive. All right. So fill in the blanks with the verbs in the simple past. So we have hire. The manager hired 3 new employees last week. We've got prepare. The chef prepared an amazing stew and salad. Number 15, the police arrested the bank robbers. Number 16, the artist make, in the past is made, a lifelike sculpture of the model. Okay, so this is these are all in the active voice. It's important to understand what that is before moving on to the passive. So number 17, correct the error. The teacher was prepared her lessons over the weekend. So she was prepared. That's different. That's using prepared as an adjective. But we're looking for the active voice. So it should be simply the teacher prepared. All right. So now let's look at number 18. Answer the question in a complete sentence. When did you do your homework? So maybe you're not a student. Maybe you don't have homework. I created this series for my university students when I was teaching in Korea. But you can still answer it using the correct grammar. I did my homework last night. All right. All right, so now let's move on to the passive voice. So before we said Pam ate a hamburger. Now we're saying the hamburger was eaten by Pam. So what is the subject? The hamburger. What's the verb? Was eaten. Is there an object? Is by Pam or Pam the object? No, there's no object. So what did the subject do? The subject is the hamburger. What did the hamburger do? Just like before, when we talked about Pam eating the hamburger, Pam ate the hamburger. The hamburger did nothing. It's passive. It receives the action. Okay, so the verb is was eaten. How do we make this verb form? We use be and the past participle. Okay, so using that form, be in the past participle, fill in the blanks with the correct verb forms, and I'll say in the past. So the same situation, we have the same situations as before, but now we're expressing them in the passive. 3 new employees, hire. So be in the past is was or were. Employees were hired by the manager. The employees got hired. They didn't do anything. The manager did the hiring. Prepare an amazing new salad, an amazing stew and salad. were prepared by the chef. Two different things. They were prepared. Okay, the chef did the preparing, the action. Number 26, arrest. The bank robbers arrested the police. No, were arrested. The police did the arresting. Okay. And 27, make a lifelike sculpture of the model. So sculpture was made by the artist. And next, correct the error. The lessons prepared the teacher over the weekend. So the lessons did nothing. They were prepared by the teacher over the weekend. And answer this question. When was your homework finished? My homework was finished last night, right? Using by plus a noun. Sometimes we do that, sometimes we don't. Let's look at how and why we do so. So what's the difference between the following sentences? The criminals were arrested. The criminals were arrested by the police. The criminals were arrested by two citizens, not police officers. So who normally arrests people? The criminals were arrested by who? The police. Okay, so you don't need to say that normally because it's obvious, but you can. The criminals were arrested by the police. It's just extra information that's not necessary. But if the police aren't the ones who make the arrest, you can say who did so. My uncle, my neighbor, two citizens, by two citizens, not police officers. Who arrested them? Two citizens, meaning people who aren't police officers. Okay. So in which sentences do we need a by plus a noun phrase, A, B, or C? Only in C. Because in A it's obvious and B it's extra. So if it's obvious who did something, you don't need to say by who or by whom. All right. So another example, the surgery was performed yesterday. Well, who performed surgery? Obviously. A doctor or doctors. Right? But in an emergency, it could be somebody else, a police officer or a nurse. So it's not obvious. So we need the by phrase. No, it's not. So we need the by phrase. Okay. It's that. Okay. So fill in the blanks with a logical by plus a noun phrase. 33, the public restrooms were cleaned by the janitors or the cleaners or the cleaning lady. Dinner was cooked by my mother, by my friend, by me, by my girlfriend, by my boyfriend, by your boyfriend, whoever. The film was made by the director, the students, Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese. I might be spelling this wrong. Okay. The book was written by me, my brother, the author, Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, whoever. All right. And 37, correct the errors. The painting made Picasso. The painting was made by Picasso. He did the painting. He made the painting. All right. Answer the following question in a complete sentence. Maybe you know the answer, maybe you don't. You can do some research if you need to, if you want to. Who was the telephone invented by? It was invented by Alexander Graham Bell. Oops. All right. So that's the basics. Those are the basics of the passive voice. Let's get into some more complex grammar. So the usage of the passive, transitive verbs. So what's the difference between the following sentences? A, Sarah reads what? Books, magazines, blogs. B, Sarah reads books. So with reads, you don't need to have an object. C, Tommy sneezed. Achoo. D, Tommy threw the ball. Tommy sneezed. Can we have an object there? No. Tommy threw the ball. Can we say Tommy threw? No, we have to have an object with through. E, F, and G. Irene loves her dog. Irene loves? No, we can't use loves without an object. But Irene sang. We don't need an object there, but we can have an object. Irene sang a song. H and I. The cat died. The package arrived. So with die and arrive, you can't have an object. The cat died. That's it. The package arrived. That's it. J and K, the driver stopped the car. The car stopped. So the driver performs the action, stopped, so we can have an object. The driver stopped the car, but you don't need to. You can say the driver stopped. The car stopped, meaning it didn't continue. You don't need, or you can't have an object in that sentence. But you can say, the driver stopped. That works. And you can say the car stopped traffic. Okay. The engine stopped working. The car stopped. Or the car stopped moving. The driver stopped. It's the same as J. The car stopped traffic. The car wasn't moving for whatever reason. It was broken. There was an accident. So other cars couldn't move either. All right, so let's analyze these a bit. Which verbs in the above sentences have an object? B, Sarah reads books. D, Tommy threw the ball. E, Irene loves her dog. G, Irene sang a song. J, the driver stopped the car. And M, the car stopped traffic. Which of the verbs in the above sentences must have an object? Not B, D, yes. Not A, not F, not G, not J, not K, not L. But for the meaning we want in M, yes, the car stopped traffic. In that sense, you need an object. Okay, so what we're looking at, or what we're talking about, are transitive and intransitive verbs. What does that mean? What do they mean? So transitive verbs must have an object. There's no option. Intransitive verbs do not need an object or cannot take an object. And we're talking about the passive voice. So this is important because only transitive verbs with an object, can be used in the passive. So let's look at this in more detail. All transitive verbs must have an object. Bring cookies, throw a ball, catch a cold, love your neighbor. All right. So on the left, we have incorrect examples. I brought, you threw, he caught, she loves. Those are incomplete because these are verbs that are transitive, meaning they always have to have an object. I brought coffee to work. You threw the ball, he caught a cold, she loves her dog. Those are all correct. Okay. But when we're talking about intransitive verbs, they're sometimes are options, because some intransitive verbs do not need an object, but they can have one. I like to run. I like to run marathons. She likes to sing. She likes to sing rock songs. Stop. We need to stop. We need to stop working. They like to eat. They like to eat pizza. So it's optional with verbs like those. And we can use these in the passive voice. Mary sang Good Vibrations. Good Vibrations was sung by Mary. So that's because they're transitive when they have an object. So some more examples. I ran a marathon. She sings songs to her dog. He ate the soup. All of those are correct. But some intransitive verbs cannot take an object, such as arrive, die, grow up, smile, wait, etc. The package arrived, the sick patient died, I sneezed, we sat on the floor, the rain stopped. So arrived, died, sneezed, sat, rain. There are no objects because those verbs cannot take objects. It would not make sense. So see if you can find and correct the error in each sentence. Todd sent to you today. Well, sent requires an object because it's transitive. Sent an email to you today. 43, the baby cried the noise. Well, when a baby cries, there is noise, but that's not the object. It's just the baby cried loudly or all night, something like that. 44, the clouds appeared in view in the sky. So appeared, when they appeared, you could see them. There was a view of the clouds, but there's no object. 45, we received in the mail yesterday. We received something. We received the package. in the mail yesterday. 46, my friend coughed the sound. Yeah, well, there's going to be a sound when we cough, but my friend coughed, and that's it. Coughed loudly or repeatedly. You can use an adverb, but not an object. The cow died the death, okay? Cow died, that's it. All right, and now let's talk about causative verbs, which are similar to passive verbs, but they're a little bit different. Causative verbs, such as make, tell, and ask, are used to indicate that someone caused something to happen. That's why they're causative. In the passive, they're followed by the to infinitive. So, ask. I asked my hairdresser to cut my hair. That's active. We can change that to the passive and say the hairdresser was asked to cut her hair. Asked to cut. So you need the to infinitive there. All right. Mrs. Kim made her children do their homework. Active. Mrs. Kim's children were made to do their homework. So you need the to infinitive. To do. All right. So now let's change causative verbs from the active to the passive. So remember to use the to infinitive. So we changed do here to do. The manager told the workers to finish their projects by 5 p.m. So the workers were told, so we changed told to were told to finish. So we already have the verb in the to infinitive form, to finish, to finish. Their projects by 5 p.m. by the manager. Okay. 49, the teacher made the students stop talking. So we're going to make the subject the students and change made to were made and change stop to the to infinitive to stop talking by the teacher. And the waitress asked the noisy group to be quiet. So we're going to change the noisy group from the object to the subject, the noisy group, and change ask to the passive was asked. And to be is already in the to be in the to infinitive form. To be quiet by the waitress. Okay, what's left? Perceptual verbs, phrasal and prepositional verbs. Prepositions. All right, and then a little chart. So we have 3 more main sections. So perceptual verbs, meaning things that you do to perceive or when you perceive something. Perceptual verbs are verbs such as know, see, observe, and hear. In the passive, when they're followed by a to infinitive, the actions are repeated or habitual. What does that mean? So some students have been known to cheat on tests. That is referring to something that they do habitually or often. When they're followed by an ing form, the actions are in progress. Some students were caught cheating on the test. So in the first example, we're talking about their habits. In the second example, this example, were caught cheating. We're talking about what actually happened. during the test. The teacher saw them doing it. All right, fill in the blanks with the correct verb forms. Drink, drive. Magda was known or is known to drink and drive. She's been arrested a few times. Magda was caught. So in progress, drinking. So just think of the progressive and driving. So she was arrested. All right, run. Mr. Jung has been known. This is his habit. To run very early in the morning. That's his routine. But he was seen running in progress very early yesterday morning by his neighbor. Right? Phrasal and prepositional verbs. A verb plus an adjective, a verb plus an adverb or preposition is considered one unit when changed into the passive form. What does that mean? It's considered one unit. That means phrasal verbs such as put together, break up, sit down, etc. can't be separated. You can't separate put from together in the passive. So in the active, you can separate the verb from the preposition. I haven't put the new desk together yet. I haven't put together the new desk yet, so they can be together or separate. All right. But in the passive, the desk hasn't been put together yet. The desk, so that's now the subject, but it's a passive subject, hasn't been put together yet. So put and together have to stay together. They can't be separated in the passive. You can't say the desk hasn't been put yet together. You can't move together to another part of the sentence. All right, so change each sentence from the active to the passive. Helen has already written up the report. So written up what? The report. Has already written up. Has already been written up. So by Helen. Helen has already written the report up. You could separate up from written in the active, but not in the passive. Miss Han has sorted out the old clothes and the new clothes. So the old clothes and new clothes has sorted becomes have been sorted out by Miss Han. So you could separate sorted and out in the active. Miss Han has sorted the old clothes and new clothes out, but not in the passive. The man has not taken out the trash, has not taken the trash out. Okay, so you can separate the verb and its preposition in the active, but not in the passive. The trash has not been, so there's the passive, not been taken out. So in the first example, out is separated from taken, but it cannot be separated in the second one, which is the passive form. All right. The soldiers had already blown up the bridge, up. So that can be separated. All right. Up can be separated from blown in the active, but not in the passive. The bridge had already been blown up. So blown and up need to stay together. By the soldiers. Okay. One more section. Prepositions at, with, and in. So they can be used instead of by with nouns in passive verb forms. At, meaning be alarmed at or surprised at. With, meaning pleased or satisfied. Be pleased with, be satisfied with, be covered with, be preoccupied with. At or with, be delighted at or with, be disgusted at or with. And in, be interested in, involved in, covered in, engaged in. So, for example, I was bitten by a dog. So there's an example with by, but let's look at some examples using at, with, or in. At, with, and in. So Ivan was surprised at the news. So Ian was pleased with the results. My grandparents were delighted with my grades, and everyone was covered in leaves. So fill in the blanks with the correct verb form. So I've made it kind of easy, but anyways, be preoccupied with. George is or was preoccupied with his financial problems. 60, be alarmed at. The doctors are or were alarmed at the number of people injured in the accident. 61, be disgusted with. We are disgusted with her terrible behavior. And 62, be interested in. You should. So should is a modal. Modals are followed by the bare infinitive. You should be interested in your children's schoolwork if you want them to do well. So answer the questions. What are you interested in? I'm interested in learning Thai and Turkish. 64. Were you satisfied with your grades last year? No or yes. So no, I wasn't satisfied with my grades. All right, and finally, here is a chart with different forms of words, verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. So let's change the forms. So for example, demonstrate, to demonstrate is a verb, and the noun form is demonstration. And the adjective form is demonstrable, and then demonstrably is the adverb. Give, to give is a noun is a verb. The noun is gift. The adjective is giving, a very giving person, and there's no adverb form. And arguably is an adverb, and the adjective is arguable. That point is arguable. And then the noun is argument, and the verb is to argue. Right? And then we have present, the present moment, in the present, or a present that you get for Christmas or your birthday or whatever. And the verb is to present. And the adjective is well, either present, the present time, or presentable. And presently is the adverb. And then open is a verb, to open. And opening, a job opening, an opening in a wall. That's the noun form. And the adjective form is open, an open door, an open person, an open book. And the adverb form is openly. Someone speaks openly when they are honest about something. All right, and then broken is an adjective, and the verb is to break. And the noun is a break. Take a break, where you have a break. In a wall, and the adverb is brokenly. Spoke brokenly. Okay, so that's it. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day. Bye-bye.